All right, tonight what we're going to be talking about are ratio conversions. And ratio conversions are anything with a ratio and converting to something else that's a ratio. So an example is you always see the word per. So I would be going 40 miles per hour and I'm asking you to convert it to kilometers per second. So it's something per something to something per something. So let's just do an example. The example that I show here is where you're going with density and you're going from 8.9 grams per milliliter and I'm asking you to go to ounces per gallon. There are a lot of different methods that people use to do this. I'm just going to show you one. As long as you get the correct answer and the logic works, then I don't care which method you use, but I am only going to show you one. What I'd like to do is I like to convert the numerator units first. So go from grams to ounces and then convert the denominators next, so milliliters to gallons, and then just dividing the two answers. Confusing to a lot of students is what to do with the number on the bottom, because obviously if you're trying to go from milliliters to gallons, you're going to need some sort of starting number. And that goes back to the for every statement. When we say 8.9 grams per milliliter, what we're actually saying is for every 1 milliliter, there are 8.9 grams, or for every 8.9 grams, there is 1 milliliter. So the number for milliliters is actually 1. And so I'd be converting 1 milliliter into gallons. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to focus on that 8.9 grams and converting it to ounces. So I'm going to put down 8.9 grams, okay? And I need to go to ounces. So what I know is that it's a mass unit. So I like to look at the English system mostly, which is the ounces, the pounds, the things that we usually use, and try to figure out, using those, go as fast as possible, meaning the least amount of steps, into something metric. Because metric is very easy to convert from one metric unit to another. It's the silly English system that's hard. So I know I need to go to ounces. So what I'm going to look for is the ounces ones. And if I look over on this side, I have ounces to pounds, and that is it. So I know I need to get pounds in order to get to anything that has ounces. So now if I'm in pounds, I need to figure out what can I get used to go to grams. And so if I look further to the right on these conversions, I see that there is a direct conversion between grams and pounds. So that is the method that I'm going to take. I'm going to go from grams to pounds and then pounds to ounces. So setting it up, grams is in my upper left for the first one. So I know I need to put grams in my bottom right for the next one. Looking at my conversion, I know I'm going to be going to pounds next. Then I'm going to go from pounds into ounces. So pounds is on the upper left in the second step. Now I'm going to put in the lower right, and then I'm going to go to ounces. So looking at units, my grams will cancel, my pounds will cancel, and I'll be left with ounces, which is what I want. So now I just need to fill in these number conversions. For the first one, I'm going to be using that. So it was 1 pound for every 453.6 grams. And then it was 16 ounces for every 1 pound. So putting that into my calculator, where you do 8.9 times 1 divided by 453.6 times 16 divided by 1, you get the answer of 0.313933. That's rounded in the last part, ounces. Okay, now I'm ready to deal with the denominator numbers. And that's where I'm going to go from milliliters into gallons. So I know I started with 1 milliliter because that per means 1. Okay, and I need to get somehow to gallons. So as always, I'm going to try to look for a conversion that goes from English for the gallons and trying to get it as fast as possible to the metric which would be a milliliters, a liters type of thing. And when I look on this volume conversion, I see one right here where it goes from gallons to liters. And since I don't see one that goes directly from gallons to milliliters, this is going to be my best bet. So I know I have to be in liters. Well, right now I'm in milliliters, so I need to first convert milliliters into liters. So milliliters will go on the bottom, liters will go on the top. Using my conversion chart, I know that there are 1,000 milliliters for every 1 liter. So my milliliters cancels, I'm now with liters, but I need to keep going into the ounces. Into the gallons. So liters will go on the bottom and then ounces will go on top. So looking at that, it's going to be 3. Gosh, I keep doing that because ounces is also an English system um, for volume too. So this is why it's so freaking confusing and why the English system is awful. So anyway, so we have 3.79 liters and I need to go to 1 gallon. So putting this into my calculator, I get the answer of 2.63852 times 10 to the negative fourth, and that unit will be gallons, right? So that's not my final answer because obviously I need to get into the unit of ounces per gallon. So what I'm going to do is divide those two numbers by each other. So I started for the first one, I ended up with 0.313933 ounces. And I need to divide it by what my gallons was, which is 2.63852 gallon times 10 to the negative fourth gallons. And when I put that into my calculator, I get 1,189.7947 ounces per gallon. And looking at sig figs back to my original equation, I had 2 and that number of 8.9. So looking at this, I'd start from the left, I go 1, 2. This second number is the one that I need to round. Looking at the number right after it, it's going to make it round up. So this would be 12. These numbers are before the decimal, but after the rounding position. So they turn to zeros, and these numbers drop off. So you would end up with 1,200 ounces per gallon. And there you are with the ratio conversion.